Hello, everyone. We're very excited to be here today on behalf of UiPath. We've partnered with AngelBeat, I think, on a couple of other events, but it's personally my first time, and I think Brad's first time on AngelBeat as well, and we're very happy to be here. So today we're going to talk to you a little bit about UiPath, what we do, and more importantly, our partnership with AWS and all the exciting things that we're doing together for our customers. So just quick intros. I'm Jessica Ng. I'm part of our product alliances team at UiPath, and I manage our global partnership with AWS. Brad here, also on the call, is our contact center lead and expert in the Americas. So with that, I'm going to turn off my camera for bandwidth to make sure our bandwidth is all good. So let's see. Moving really quick, just to give a condensed kind of snapshot of who we are as a company. We are an enterprise software company that offers what is called robotic processing automation. That's RPA for short. And we are a leader in this category. And we've been really lucky to have experienced really high growth in the past couple of years. Today, we have over 3,000 employees and offices globally. On the right-hand side here is what we like to sort of call our NASCAR slide. But the point here really is that we've got a really good set of enterprise customers across all kinds of different industries and verticals. So let's talk about RPA. What is RPA? At the very core, it's really, as Ron kind of alluded to this a little bit, using robots to take away the mundane, repetitive, boring tasks that as a human worker, we all know, there are things that we don't want to do, but we have to do. And by robots, I'm talking about software robots, not physical robots. There's actually more confusion around that than you think, so I just want to clarify that it's software robots. And the way I like to kind of describe what software robots do is if you as a human can do this on a computer, a robot can do that as well. So if you think about logging into your email, then opening an email, downloading the attachment, opening the attachment, copying the data in the attachment, then pasting the data into your CRM system, those sort of process or a series of tasks that you do today where you can define sort of a step-by-step recipe, a robot can do that as well. Which also means that, it doesn't matter where your data sits. It could be in your cloud-based CRM, it could be in your mainframe system, it could be in your virtualized environment, it could be a homebrewed application. If you as a human can access that data, the robot can do it too. And that's kind of really that UiPath RPA secret sauce. It's kind of our leading UI-based automation combined with API-based automation that we build out of the box to the most common enterprise applications our customers use today, and to enable that, what we like to call a fully automated enterprise. So as you can imagine, back office processes like finance, supply chain, HR, where there's a lot of repeatable manual processes a human has to do across various different applications, this is where RPA really shines. RPA also has really powerful use cases, which Brad is going to talk about a little bit later in the front office around customer service or contact center, where there's actually a lot of repetitive and manual work that the agent has to do. So I'm going to switch gears now and talk about how we partner with AWS and the solutions that we bring together to our customers. We partner mainly on three main pillars. Firstly, around the cloud infrastructure. I'm sure we all know here, AWS cloud is very powerful. We leverage that to kind of scale our robot workforce up and down. And we also help automate some of those to help our IT departments manage EC2 and S3 operations. But what we're going to talk about today and dive a little bit more into are the second and third pillars. So I'm going to talk about leveraging AWS's, very powerful suite of AI services that we just went through to automate more complex business use cases. And I'm going to pass it on to Brad after that to talk about how we work with AWS in the contact center to boost customer experience. So I'm going to start with the AI side, right? The core of RPA is, as I mentioned, to mimic human actions, right? To interact with digital systems, to automate the tedious, repetitive, time-consuming, non-value-adding tasks. It's very much process-driven, rules-based, and the focus is on the execution of these tasks. When you add the power of AWS AI and ML capabilities, you can really automate more tasks that are more knowledge intensive. They're more cognitive, they're more complex. And this really opens up a wide variety of use cases that can be automated in your business process and get to a state of sort of like AI enabled decision making. So for example, if I'm taking Amazon's NLP service like Comprehend, it could search through structured and unstructured data to understand customer sentiment and customer support tickets, and then UiPath can automatically route these tickets accordingly to the right teams. You can also address scenarios that are also high variability, like matching resume job skills to open roles in the company for an HR department as part of the end-to-end applicant management workflow. And AWS has a very kind of powerful, comprehensive suite of these capabilities, and they basically teach a UiPath robot to automate business processes that are more complex with these new kind of powerful AI skills. On the flip side, most execs, of course, and we all here agree that AI is critical for their business. However, only 16% of AI projects in reality actually move into production. And oftentimes that's because, difficulty in identifying the right business use case that's impactful. There's a lack of employee skills. The AI team is siloed from the rest of the business. And what happens is that these AI projects end up being a side project that's not fully integrated and transformative to the business. At UiPath, we like to say that we are sort of that scaffolding and the infrastructure that bridges the gap between the AI and the business process. We like to say, RPA makes AI real. You can take AWS's AI capabilities and literally drag and drop them directly into your business process, which I'm going to show you in a second in a quick video demo. So, AWS will build these really powerful AI engines and capabilities, and UiPath, our job is to build the connector and then link it into the business workflows to address the business problem. So here, I'm going to show a quick demo on a video where we're infusing Amazon Textract, that's AWS's document extraction AI service, into a loan processing workflow at a bank, which is automated end-to-end by a UiPath robot. This loan processing use case is a very common one that we see today for our banking customers. So I'm going to click play here. And you'll see that in here, a first step is the small business owner is going to submit their loan application form with a lot of documents via email. When those emails kind of hit the inbox here, the UiPath robot is really kind of monitoring those emails and detects it and then collects these submitted documents and downloads the attachment, such as this one. And once the robot has downloaded all of the attachments, it's going to loop through these documents one by one and extract all of that data on that page. And that power of extraction is really Amazon Textract behind it. And for the purpose of this demo, we're just going to show this one document here, which is the Form 1099 that we use for small business loans. Now we're going to switch gears to take a look at UiPath Studio. So this is the Studio interface where the workflow is kind of really designed. So I'm going to pause here for a second so that you could see that this is sort of the drag and drop Lego block experience that I talked about, where we have a flow chart here is where you're basically step by step describing the process that you're automating. So as you can see, that first step, which I just mentioned, is downloading the email attachment. Amazon Textract also pops up as an activity where you can drag and drop that into this workflow really easily. And so Textract can be easily infused into this automation directly. So now the robot is going to run, and now it's kind of downloading all those email attachments, and it's going to pop up here where it returns to us a series of key value pairs in this case because of how this document is formatted. With Textract, no prior template or training is required, so what you see here are out-of-the-box results. And this thing, what we're showing here is the presentation of the data. It's a validation step for the human to review this extraction, to make sure that the data is extracted correctly. And it's part of UiPath's capability to also enable human in the loop in our automations. So for instance, we flag for human review the right person at the right department to make sure that this is good. Users can also see their original document over there and the results, and then make any edits to the values if they see that the results, might have been pulled incorrectly. On the left here, you can also see the confidence scores, and these are also generated as part of Textract's capabilities. So eventually, the user is going to hit, accept or reject the results of this document. And then so the robot comes back in here and automatically moves it to the next step of the process, which for a loan processing use case would be the data entry. The robot can take any of that extracted results and enter it directly into any system. So again, this could be a mainframe system. This could be some homebrewed system the bank has. For this, use case, it's going to be the loan system of the bank to take it to the next step of loan processing. So, that's just really quick an example of document extraction as part of an end-to-end business process that's usually done manually by a person, but now it's fully automated by UiPath robot infused with the capabilities of Amazon Textract. And if you think about, combining Amazon's other AI services or an ML model that you trained on SageMaker, it can really open some really cool, complex use cases. Here, I'm just going to flash up this a little bit. This is sort of an overview of the integrations that we have across the AWS suite. In the middle pillar here is sort of the ML and AI services. We've got Textract as that drag and drop Lego block activity, but we can also have them built for recognition and comprehend. And any of AWS services can really be easily leveraged in our automation workflows. And at the end of the day, that's what we really mean by UiPath makes AI work. It makes it really dynamic, and it comes alive by interacting with the different elements to solve a business problem. It becomes, RPA is that last mile delivery mechanism for AWS's AI services into the business. So again, same message. It's not just something a data science team can do, but every line of business, right? Back office, finance, HR, IT, any office worker really can bring in AI as they're automating their own business processes. So that's it for AI. I'm going to pass it on to Brad to talk about how we collaborate with Amazon in the customer experience journey in the contact center.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jessica. Like Jessica said, I'm going to talk a little bit about how UiPath and Amazon, specifically Amazon Connect and AWS, work together to really help improve customer experiences. And we're going to focus a little bit more on the contact center, but when we say customer experiences, it really means all those touch points that you might have that a brand might have with yourself. So Jessica, let's go ahead and go to the next slide and dive into just what exactly that means. So what does it mean when we say we can work together to automate the end-to-end customer experience journey? Well, we like to start off saying that oftentimes the best call is actually no call at all. Research shows, and there's plenty of research actually out there that shows that most customers want to have the opportunity to self-serve. Self-serve if they need to check on a payment, if they need to make a payment, if they want to place an order, or if they want to create a case or a ticket or whatever it might be. They want to be able to do that through self-service. But oftentimes what we find is that there's data that's locked in those systems that Jessica was talking about earlier. We need to be able to provide Amazon Connect and Lex and the other capabilities that are out there access to that data, and that's where the UiPath unattended robots tend to come into play. But knowing that not every customer is going to want to do self-service, and that some of those self-service customers are going to need to talk to an agent, we need to be able to hand that off to a customer service agent. So that's where our unattended robots, what we call our attended robots, work together with other AWS services like transcribe, comprehend, recognition to help the agent, one, understand why the customer is calling in and help them answer the questions. Why are they calling? Why are they calling in? What can I do? How can we best service them to help increase satisfaction? Now, one of the other things that we also provide here is what we call low-code agent console, and we can actually infuse. Jessica was talking about how we infuse automation into AWS's AI capabilities. Well, this is a case where AWS AI is actually being infused to a UiPath low-code agent console to help do things like speech-to-text, text-to-speech, offer sentiment analysis, and next best action recommendations to the agent during the call. Now, we also often see that we need to have a handoff from maybe one agent to another agent or an agent to the back office. And these are where the unattended robots come back into play. Not always. Every once in a while we might see an attended robot, but oftentimes it's unattended. And Jessica was showing the 1099 form earlier. Well, there may be other forms, might be an email, might be other documents that get handed off to a back office worker or from front office to the back office worker. Well, that handoff can actually be automated. with that unattended robot, with text track recognition, maybe to read an image or to read a document, but it might not always get 100% of the way. So this is what we like to say when we bring that human into loop with our action center and our validation station. And if we can automate to eliminate, we'll do that. But if we need to bring a human into the loop, we've got tools that help with that too. So I think the real key point here, and the last point that we'll make, is that if there are APIs available, we'll work with the APIs, we can do that. But oftentimes what we find is that to work with existing technology, it's a combination of APIs and user interface integration to really enable this end-to-end journey that we see here. And we can do that very quickly as well. You don't have to, sometimes you don't have the time to build an API, test an API, secure the API, deploy the API. If we can use the user interface, it makes that much faster. And a lot of our initial implementations are 8 to 12 weeks, and those only go faster after initial. So Jessica, let's go ahead and go to the next slide and talk about one of our customers that's actually using us for the first step in that journey, the self-service part. So this is a very typical case study for us when we work with Amazon Connect, in that a customer has a high volume of low complexity calls that are going to their agents. Well, those calls should actually be handled in self-service with an IVR, with a chatbot, or other self-service capability. This is one of our banking clients, and just a few examples of those types of transactions are unrecognized transactions. If you're traveling internationally, I need to enable my credit card for international. I need to reorder my lost credit card. Hey, my banking password, I lost my banking password and I need to reset it, or I need to unlock my account. Those are all things that should happen in self-service, but oftentimes what we find is the capability to do that is locked in a system in the back end that requires an agent. Well, we help unlock those systems, unsilo those systems, so that way you can do more through the self-service world. But, we talked earlier around not every call is going to end in self-service, and sometimes you're going to need to go to an agent. So this is where that seamless transfer from the self-service world over to the agent needs to happen. So we're actually going to show a demo of how this works. But the first demo we're going to show is what happens today without automation. So we've got our soft phone up on the screen now, and when our call first comes in, you're going to see the agent accept the call, so typical action on a soft phone. And then they have to open up various applications, maybe a CRM and a mainframe. They're logging in. And keep in mind, they're on the phone with the customer while they're trying to do this, right? So they're trying to log in. Maybe they miss a step. And they're trying to talk to the customer. The customer's trying to explain the problem, and they're fumbling around trying to get to the right screens. Now, this desktop is actually, if anyone's ever been in a contact center and sat with a contact center agent, this is actually pretty simplified. Oftentimes agents will have dozens of windows open trying to manage those windows in the customer. They're really good at it, but sometimes the conversation with the customer gets lost. So what we're going to show you next is actually what this looks like with a UiPath robot working together with an Amazon Connect IVR. And in this example, this customer is actually calling in about a warranty, and we've detected, our robot has been given that information from Connect and automatically pulled up the warranty information. We're automatically logging into the mainframe that you see there. We've got the activity history pulled up in our CRM application, and that all happened in the first 5 seconds of the call. In our previous demo, what happened? It took 30 seconds, and the agent was trying to talk to the customer at the same time. In this case, the agent can just focus on the customer. The robots are doing the work, getting them into the right systems, pulling the data, taking the context from self-service, getting their extended warranty, in this case, pulled up, and working, helping the customer resolve their issue. So increased customer satisfaction. Average handling time is always one of those concerns too, but really this is about making the customer happy and fulfilling their request. So Jessica, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. We just gave you a small snippet there of, if we could go back to, of some of the demos that we have. We actually have a number of demos out on our YouTube site. I've only listed 3 here because these are our 3 most recent. There are several others to actually show you how to build these flows and incorporate them into or tie them together with UiPath and Amazon Connect together. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the customers that we have here. This is one of the big questions that I always get is, Brad, who's doing this and where's it being done? Well, we actually have a number of customers across the globe and across industries. Banking, public sector, telecom. I've been doing this for a while. Not unusual for them to be our largest customers because that's where you tend to find the largest call centers. But just about any industry can benefit from this type of automation, whether it's self-service, agent-assisted service, or those handoffs from one agent to another, an agent to a team lead, or an agent to the back office. And Jessica, if we could go to and the last question I often get is, well, what are some of the metrics? How can we, what are you really improving? Average handling time really helps make the business case, but today, especially over the past 6 to 9 months, I hear more and more from customers, how can you help us increase our net promoter score, customer satisfaction? How can you increase our first contact resolution rates? How can you ensure we help lower the churn of our agents? And that's really kind of what robots also help do as well, especially when we integrate them with a lot of these other services and capabilities that UiPath and Amazon bring to the table. And if you want to see how we do that, we actually have a customer experience ROI calculator. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll help do a calculation and show what some of these benefits could look like within your organization. Jessica, with that, I think that wraps things up. Well, thank you. Thanks for everything.